Welcome to Headphone News, Greater Toronto edition for Friday, November 29, 2024.
Rising Christmas tree costs in Ontario. The holiday season is here in Ontario, Canada, and families are getting ready to choose their Christmas trees. However, rising prices are making this tradition more difficult for many. The Canadian Christmas Tree Association reports that the industry has grown from $53 million in 2015 to over $100 million in 2024. Prices for fresh-cut trees now range from $80 to $300 Canadian dollars, which is about $59 to $224 US dollars. This increase is mainly due to inflation affecting costs like fertilizer and labor. Despite these challenges, many families still prefer real trees for their holiday celebrations, as the demand for fresh-cut trees remains strong.
Canada selects communities for nuclear waste repository. The Nuclear Waste Management Organization has selected Wabigoon Lake Ojibwe Nation and Ignis in northwestern Ontario as the host sites for Canada's first deep geological repository for nuclear waste. This decision comes after more than a decade of community engagement and technical studies. In local votes, 77% of Ignis residents supported the project, and a majority in Wabigoon Lake Ojibwe Nation also approved it. The estimated cost of the repository is around 26 billion Canadian dollars, which is about 19.5 billion US dollars. Construction is expected to start in the mid-2030s, with operations likely beginning in the early 2040s. The project aims to safely manage nuclear waste, create jobs, and address environmental concerns. The Nuclear Waste Management Organization highlighted the importance of a consent-based siting process, emphasizing collaboration with Indigenous communities. Federal Energy Minister Jonathan Wilkinson and Ontario Energy Minister Stephen Lecce expressed appreciation for the communities involved in this decision. The project will go through a thorough regulatory review to ensure safety assessments are independently verified. This initiative represents a significant step in Canada's approach to nuclear waste management and aligns with broader climate goals.
Florida Panthers defeat Toronto Maple Leafs 5-1. On November 27, 2024, the Florida Panthers defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-1 in an NHL game held in Florida. Carter Verhaeghe scored 2 goals for the Panthers, while Sam Bennett and Alexander Barkov each added a goal and an assist. Mitch Marner netted the only goal for the Maple Leafs. The team faced significant challenges due to injuries, missing key players like captain Austin Matthews and losing winger Bobby McMahon during the game. There is hope for Matthews' return, as he is expected to play soon. This victory ended the Maple Leafs' 4-game winning streak.
Toronto officer found guilty in assault case. A Toronto police officer, Constable Calvin O, has been found guilty of assault causing bodily harm in connection with the death of 19-year-old Chad Facey. The incident occurred on April 26, 2021, in Brampton, Ontario, when Facey sold a fake Apple Watch to Constable Gurmick Benning for $400 Canadian dollars, which is about $295 United States dollars. After realizing the watch was counterfeit, O and Benning confronted Facey, leading to O taking him to the ground. Facey later experienced medical distress and was taken to the hospital, where he died from an intracerebral hemorrhage. The ruling by Justice Wolcombe noted concerns about O's credibility during his testimony. While O was convicted of assault, the court could not prove that his actions directly caused Facey's death. This case raises important questions about police accountability and the relationship between law enforcement and the community.
Transit Windsor reports on-time performance amid overcrowding. Transit Windsor, the public transit service in Windsor, Ontario, has announced that most bus routes are running on time, but overcrowding remains an issue. The on-time performance currently stands at 78%, which is better than the industry standard of 75%. High ridership levels are leading to crowded buses, with some routes averaging over 50 boardings each hour. To tackle this problem, the city has ordered 19 new buses, with the first one recently arriving and the rest expected by February 2025. Despite these positive performance metrics, the system has not met industry standards for boardings per hour for the past 2 years. The Crosstown 2 route and the tunnel bus to Detroit are exceptions, showing lower performance. As winter approaches, there may be further challenges to on-time performance, with projections indicating a possible drop to 68% by the end of the year.
Third youth charged in Pickering murder case. Toronto police have arrested a third youth in the murder case of Sulakshan Selvasingham, a 28-year-old man shot in Pickering, Ontario, Canada. The shooting took place on July 6, 2024, when Selvasingham was found with gunshot wounds and later died in the hospital. 2 other youths, aged 15 and 16, were arrested earlier in July and charged with murder. These 2 also face an additional 154 charges connected to 11 other shooting incidents that occurred between June 29 and July 14, including 8 incidents during the Canada Day long weekend. This case highlights serious concerns about youth violence and community safety in the area.
Eglinton Crosstown LRT update. The Eglinton Crosstown Light Rail Transit Project in Toronto, Ontario, is experiencing delays due to software design flaws affecting train operations. Metrolinx, the agency overseeing the project, anticipates starting a revenue service demonstration in early 2025. A safety risk was identified in the signaling system, leading to 8 software updates to resolve various issues. Construction began in 2011, and the project aims to improve public transit with a 19-kilometer line that includes 25 stations. Testing and commissioning are ongoing, with safety as a top priority. The project has faced numerous challenges, including legal disputes and delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
New documentary on Sudbury's environmental recovery. A new documentary called Planting Hope, a regreening story has premiered at Science North in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. The film explores the environmental damage caused by the mining industry in Sudbury and highlights the collaboration between local communities, Indigenous groups, and mining companies to restore the land. It emphasizes the important contributions of Indigenous communities in these efforts. The documentary will be available in English, French, and Anishinaabe, an Indigenous language. Public screenings will start on Friday at Dynamic Earth, another site operated by Science North. This film aims to raise awareness about environmental issues and encourage discussions on sustainability.
Kitchener man arrested in major Snowflake hacking scheme. A 25-year-old man from Kitchener, Ontario, named Connor Mauka, has been arrested for his alleged role in a significant hacking scheme against Snowflake, a cloud storage provider. Authorities allege that Mauka and a co-conspirator extorted at least 36 Bitcoin, worth about $936,000, from several victim organizations. The investigation started in April 2024 when Snowflake notified U.S. authorities about a possible data breach. Cybersecurity firms CrowdStrike and Mandiant were brought in to investigate, revealing that around 165 organizations were affected. Mauka now faces extradition to the United States for legal proceedings, underscoring the rising threat of cybercrime and the challenges of international law enforcement.
Hamilton Cardinals sign MLB star Fernando Rodney. The Hamilton Cardinals, a baseball team in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, have signed former Major League Baseball All-Star Fernando Rodney for the 2025 season. This signing aims to strengthen the team and end a championship drought that has lasted since 1978. At 47 years old, Rodney has played for 11 teams during his 17-year career in Major League Baseball. Team owner Eric Spearin expressed enthusiasm about adding a player with Rodney's experience and leadership. The Cardinals will begin training in April 2025, with the regular season starting in mid-May.
Ontario faces family doctor shortage crisis. A report from the Ontario Liberals reveals that over 3 million people in Ontario may lose their family doctors due to retirement. About 2,300 family doctors in the province are 60 years or older. Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie criticizes the government for not planning for this issue over the past 6 years. The Ontario government plans to restrict international students from entering medical schools starting in 2026 and will cover tuition for more than 1,000 students who commit to becoming family doctors. Many communities, particularly in rural areas, lack family doctors accepting new patients. The Ontario Medical Association calls the situation a catastrophe, with many residents struggling to find a family doctor. The report also indicates that 4.1 million people in Ontario are not rostered to or do not have access to a family doctor. To address these challenges, the Ontario government will expand the roles of nurse practitioners, allowing them to perform more medical tasks starting July 1, 2025.
Ontario government considers buying back Highway 407. The Ontario government is looking into the possibility of buying back Highway 407, a major tolled highway in the Greater Toronto Area. Transportation Minister Prabmeet Sarkaria announced that talks have started with the current operators of the highway. The goal is to ease traffic congestion and make travel more affordable for residents. Finance Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy mentioned that financial details are still being reviewed. Opposition NDP leader Marit Stiles proposed making Highway 407 toll-free for commercial truck drivers to help reduce traffic on Highway 401. Highway 407 was sold in 1999 for about 3.1 billion Canadian dollars, which is roughly 2.3 billion US dollars. The province still owns part of the highway, which has lower toll rates than the private section. That is all the news for today. Thank you for listening to today's Headphone News. News summary brought to you by AI.